So I am absolutely delighted today to be joined by Sheri Roberts Greimes. Her music is familiar to listeners of the Blues Hour. A couple of months ago, I think we played the entirety of the album Bleeding Heart, and a particular favourite of mine, the song Month of Mondays, which I know is a very personal song for Sheri. Multiple award-winning blues singer, songwriter, musician, BB Awards 2017, 18, 19 and 20, including 3 blues female vocalists. Recent album, Lightning Strikes Twice, is the one that we'll be playing 3 tracks from today. I know that there's a 4th album, Heart of Stone, at some point will be finding its way out to us as well. So Sheri, a very warm welcome to the Blues Hour. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
Thank you.
So you're in the Pacific Northwest, is that right? That's sort of Seattle area, that's the right
Yeah,
area?
I'm about 30 miles north of Seattle, and believe it or not, it's actually sun shining here in Washington today.
It's not often sunshiny here in Scotland. We're not well known for our sunshine.
Yeah, here in Seattle too.
But you're bringing sunshine to our show today. And, you know, with Seattle or Washington State, I didn't realize until fairly recently, is responsible for so many of the world's sort of biggest companies, names that come in and out of houses every day. Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Boeing, Starbucks, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it brings a lot to the world. And in addition to that, we have your music. So we're going to play the first track of the 3 that we're playing today, and that's from Lightning Strikes Twice, your recent album. This is Tell Me That You're Mine. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what this track means for you and why you wrote it, what you were saying when you wrote it?
Tell Me That You're Mine. Actually, the whole Lightning Strikes Twice album is a lot of the songs are centered around reconnecting with my 6th grade boyfriend, and that's what Lightning Strikes Twice is. And then the Tell Me That You're Mine was a song of frustration. He couldn't tell me, and he just couldn't make that commitment. And it's like, tell me that you want to have a relationship with me. Tell me that you're mine. Tell me that you love me, or else just let me go and let me, stop the pain. And so I wrote the song and I sang it for him, and he just thought it was too personal. So we really did break up.
Oh, no.
That's okay.
Well, I'm sure that is a feeling that many people can relate to. So this is Sheri Roberts Greimes singing Tell Me That You're Mine from her latest album, Lightning Strikes Twice. And that was Tell Me That You're Mine from Lightning Strikes Twice. We're joined from the Pacific Northwest by Sheri Roberts Greimes. Sheri, one of the overarching aspects, I think, of your music is the storytelling. And would it be right in saying that your desire to tell a story is perhaps more important than even the specific genre? Because your music, I mean, we're a blues show, but your music straddles various genres in order to tell the story, doesn't it?
People tell me that I'm a storyteller, yes. But I don't write to genres. I write to the melody that I hear inside my head or I feel in my heart. And a lot of times, I mean, I have songs that I've never sang in public, and if people heard them, it's just I can go from Americana to blues to rock to country. And the part of the storytelling is just, it's how it comes out. It's like, what am I? And people go, you're Sheri. And it's like, oh, okay. Okay.
And I think with your music, I mean, I was listening to it earlier on, and I was trying to decide for myself which element the storytelling dwells in, because it's not just a powerful voice. You've got a wonderfully powerful voice. It's not just in lyrics and music. It's a whole package thing, isn't it, that communicates a feeling. And And how do you decide? Because some of these songs I know are really personal for you. They tell stories about family, about love. But how do you decide which stories to share? And then how do you know when you're crafting a song that that's it? I've done it. That song expresses the story that I wanted to tell.
Oh, good question. I don't write to be commercial. I write just for my own benefit. And if other people enjoy it, that's great. I have a lot of promoters, say, you're not writing something that's commercial enough to pursue, promoting. And you're not one specific genre, you're all over the place. And it's like, well, I can be what you want me to be. But back to the question was, when a song, what I do when I write a song is I'll turn on a tape recorder whenever I, get on the piano, and I'll start a song and I'll record it so I don't miss pieces of it. And I remember what I've done. And I'll continue with the song, and I can change a song a year after singing it. And, it's always improved. I never sing it the same twice. And it's always a piece of me that's alive. That's what it is. And if people can feel what I feel when I'm singing it, then I know it's a good song. So it touches my heart, and I hope it touches theirs.
Well, I mean, I can only. Well, I was going to say I can only speak for myself, but that's not entirely true, because I've heard and let other people hear your music, and I was going to share. I don't normally read out reviews when I'm talking to people, but the one that was in Blues Matters magazine, which is one of the UK's biggest blues. I mean, you'll know that. But just in case any of the listeners don't, Blues Matters magazine, one of the biggest UK blues magazines. And I'm just going to read a paragraph or two from, this is the review for Bleeding Heart, which we mentioned. A multiple award-winning blues singer based in Washington State, Sheri sings her original songs with honest, vulnerable lyrics of love, loss, and redemption, with a voice so full of soul that every song is a standout song. All I could think of while I was listening to every track was how I would love to be able to sing like this lady. Soul-soaked vocal cords, raw, rich, mature, and strong. Sheri takes her incredibly talented musicians to another level altogether. And then she goes on to say, every track was proficient and incredible, with raw emotion, charisma, and always that incredibly powerful, rich voice. So when I say I agree with what you're saying, I'm not just speaking for myself, because I mean, these are people who listen to artists all over the place. And the last line really struck a chord with me, the last couple of sentences. It said, everyone must hear this album. I honestly do not think there's a single person who loves any genre of music that will not love it. How have I not heard of this lady before? If you have a friend who tells them they do not get blues, play them this album.
Oh.
It's just honest, isn't it? I mean, I was going to say it's lovely, but it's not being kind. She's just being honest. But and as much as blues is, we recognize a sound of blues, but in as much as blues is about saying, life can be really miserable sometimes, but I'm going to keep going and not let it defeat me. That transcends the sort of 12-bar blues, the traditional sound that we recognize, and it becomes an attitude, doesn't it, as much as a particular sound.
Yes, I appreciate that review. It makes me feel validated when people give me feedback. So,
and I think it's the fact that you said there you don't write for aiming for commercial success. I think that perhaps kind of answers, how have I not heard of this person before? And that's a loss to anybody who hasn't. Anyway, we'll play your second track now. This is from the same album, Lightning Strikes Twice. The second track we're going to play is Ain't Your Mama. Would you like to tell us a little bit to introduce this track for us, please, Sheri?
Again, it's another, we call the album a Bob song because Bob was the guy, my 6th grade boyfriend. And this one was, you know, to be quite blunt, booty call. Where last minute, you know, the first line is, "You're 3 martinis in and you're calling me again." And like a fool, I picked up the phone. And it's like, you know, the only reason you hear from people sometimes when you're having a relationship with them is, you know, they just don't want to be alone. That if they don't care about you, they just don't want to be alone. And so it's like, you know what? Enough is enough. You can go on. I don't need that. So, yeah, that's what the song's about.
I love your raw honesty. Let's play the track then. This is, again, Sheri Roberts Greimes with Ain't Your Mama from Lightning Strikes Twice. And that was Ain't Your Mama from Lightning Strikes Twice. We're joined still from the Pacific Northwest, from 30 miles outside of Seattle, by Sheri Roberts Greimes. Loving your music. We've played it, as I said, a good number of your tracks on the show. Let's spend a little bit of time, if it's okay, just getting to know you. One of the things that struck me when I was just sort of trying to find out a little bit about you was what I had learned from the music was this raw and intense emotion and this willingness to share it, but also just how much fun you seem to be. So, I mean, I looked on your Facebook page and there was lots of just little fun. It was a giggle. Scrolling through it was just lots of funny stuff. Looking on your website at the gallery and the videos, your face just shines with this joy as though you love it. And you mentioned to me that you sing in care homes, elderly. You must just love what you do. There's obviously a lot of fun and happiness in you. So tell us just a little bit about yourself and your life.
Well, I used to be in adult education, and I taught at a college for 13 years. And when I got septic pneumonia is when I ended up on oxygen, and I couldn't work anymore. But anyway, I couldn't sing, and the only thing I had left was the desire to pursue my music. And so the motivation for me was to put out Bleeding Heart and write a blues album. I always wanted to be a blues singer. And I thought, well, okay, I'm going to try it. And I did it. And that was my motivation. And that's what introduced me to the blues community. I sing maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. But other than that, I'm just pretty low-key, homebound, just, you know, I guess I'm, what do you call it? I'm very organic in my music promotion. If it happens, it happens. If, you know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And you know, I don't have the money to hire promoters. And so I just, you know, send it out there. And if anybody wants to share my music, please do, because to me, that's how I reach people. And that's how I touch people, is through my music. And that's all I have left. That's my validation in the world. So, yeah.
And your health is okay at the moment? You
know, I can't ever get back to 100%, but I can, you know, I can take care of myself and be very careful about, especially, you know, going back out into the public, be very careful about what my limitations are. And sometimes that's, you know, a reality check, but I still, you know, I can go play in a bar or a festival. It's just, it's a lot of planning and a lot of roadies. So I buy people a lot of drinks to help me haul my equipment in.
Well, you do have a couple of bands, don't you? You've got Sheri, and I love the name, Sheri and Da Boys. And you've got the Go Mama band.
The Boys, DABOYZ, is two friends of mine, Mark Logan, my guitar player, and Mitch Pumpian, my harmonica player, and we have a trio. Sometimes the places we play at are small and they don't want a 5-piece band, which is Joe Mama. And that's adding drummer Roy Schmecka and my bass player, Mark Mossholder. And these guys have been around the Pacific Northwest forever. And they're very seasoned musicians, and I'm just lucky to have them. But the trio is pretty much the easiest for me because it's just 3 of us, and we can book more as a trio. We do a lot of private parties. We do a lot of coffee houses, restaurants, where you can't take a big 5-piece band in. So, yeah. And then I do a lot of solos too. So,
well, yeah, I've seen some of the videos of the solos, and anybody listening, I would urge them to go along to your YouTube channel and your website. In fact, the song that we played, "Tell Me That You're Mine," there's a live version of you on your website playing that to watch, isn't there?
Yeah, that was competing for the International Blues Challenge, and that was for the local level. And then I went on to regionals and I won that. So I got to go and represent Washington State in Memphis at the International Blues Challenge in 2019. And that was amazing. That was amazing.
That is pretty awesome.
Have you ever been there?
Do you know, I've never even been to America.
Oh, well, you'll have to make a point of coming because it's just crazy. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people that converge in Memphis, and it's just, a blues festival. Yeah. The thing is Memphis is busy every day with blues fans from all over the world. So, yeah, you'll have to make a trip at least once.
Yeah, it's almost in my mind as a kind of pilgrimage. And I've got a couple of friends who have got sort of primed for significant birthdays in a few years' time to start sort of saving up. And I'm not well, but I play a little bit of harmonica, and my friend, he plays a bit of banjo. And I reckon in a few years' time, if we can get proficient, then we would have a dream to go to some of these places and just join in a bit of the fun.
Do you have jam sessions that you can go to?
Yeah, there's more in. I don't live near Glasgow, I'm about 100 and odd miles from Glasgow now. But in Glasgow, there were places that we could go and share, and they were great fun.
Yeah, and that's a great way to meet other musicians and see what people are doing in the blues community. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, here there's not as big a blues culture, so part of what I'm hoping to do is to increase that blues culture, because it speaks. I think it speaks a very powerful message, in all its different forms, country blues, jazz, whatever. But yeah,
Delta blues, Chicago blues, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the rawness of it. I think and you see it bleeding into every other genre of music.
Of course, yeah.
I had a friend who used to teach guitar, and he used to have the kids would come in for their first guitar lesson, and he would always say to them, "Right, who do you like to listen to?" And they would say the latest band that he had never heard of or whatever, and he would say, "Right, go away and come back and find out who that guitarist liked to listen to." And they would come back, and sort of one generation removed now, they would say things like Iron Maiden or Metallica or whatever. And he would say, "Right, go away and find out who they liked, and then keep going, find who they liked, and as far back as you can go." And he said they always come back and went, "Muddy Waters?"
Oh, yeah.
And that was how I get into blues, actually. He said to me, "You need to listen to Muddy Waters." And I had never listened to blues.
Yeah.
And it was through just trying to learn a little bit from the playing, I realized this stuff is incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, our third track from Lightning Strikes Twice is Take My Burdens. Sheri, would you like to say a little bit to introduce Take My Burdens?
Take My Burdens, I wanted to do what they call a field song. the cotton pickers in the old times. The lyrics were derived from just, personal feelings of despair, and I was down, I was blue. A lot of things were going on in my life, but the thing is what I was going for was that down south blues feeling, and more of a, I don't know, chain gang song is what I was trying to go for, and it's weird how it turned out. It is. It turned out better than I expected.
Well, I think it definitely achieved that goal. So this is Take My Burdens by Sheri Roberts Greimes, third track that we're playing from Lightning Strikes Twice. That was Take My Burdens. We're joined with Sheri Roberts Greimes. Sheri, just before we finish, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and giving us your time. If people wanted to hear more of your music or learn a little more about you and follow you as you release more music, is there places they could go, a website? And
yeah, the biggest problem finding me is spelling my last name correctly. But if you www.Sheri Roberts Greimes, or you just Google Sheri Roberts and I'll pop up. So I don't know if it would pop up in Scotland. Google me and see if it shows up sometime. But and also too, I'm on Reverb Nation.
Yeah.
And I'm on Bandcamp and SoundCloud and any free platform I can be on. I'm distributed through Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartMusic, everything else out there, and it's part of my distribution package with CD Baby. So, and it was a good buy for me.
Yeah.
I just want to get it out there so people can hear it, and it's amazing because I hear from people from Australia. I hear from people like you from Scotland, Canada, Germany, Italy, all over the world, Japan. And this one lady asked me if I wanted to do a tour of Europe. That would be hard for me, but it would be a dream come true. It really would be.
Yeah.
So I've never been to Europe, and I'd love to come.
Well, if you ever make it to Scotland, I would promise to show you around and look after you and make sure that you saw all the things that a visitor to Scotland should see.
Thank you.
But it must be a tremendous thing when somebody in a far off country on the other side of the world gets in touch and says, thank you for writing a song that expresses an emotion that I've had, and I didn't know anybody else was feeling that emotion, but I heard your song and suddenly I feel I'm not alone. And that's the kind of thing people say to you, right?
Yes, that's why I've been blessed with a gift that I can share. And I'm just so ever grateful for that. And that means so much to me when people email me or message me or, get me on Facebook. And, they just let me know that they related to my music, and it lets me know that I've helped someone. I've helped myself, and I've shared what is in my heart. So, yeah.
I think we live in a day, don't we, where we're privileged. I'm guessing it's not that long ago where people would put music out and it's not that they would never get anything back, but fan mail would have to be somebody writing down and writing it out, whereas now people can go on and say, as soon as they hear a song, send a message to say, I'm just telling you, that song is superb.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. It's nice. It is nice. It is.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all the best with the continuing to promote Lightning Strikes Twice. We look forward to Heart of Stone when it comes. Is that a little bit away?
Yeah, I've only got 3 songs. It's not going to be a full album. It may be just one song over an EP, extended play disc. Um, I don't know. I'm not rushing it this time. When I did Lightning Strikes Twice, I had all the songs written before I went in, whereas now I'm being very selective, and I am taking the challenge to write just strictly commercial blues. So hopefully I get it right this time. I don't know. I'm just, but I'm being very careful about the songs that I put on this. But Heart of Stone is a blues,
Yeah.
and it's just that's the theme song, and it's about having your heart broken so many times that it gets hard, and so you end up with a heart of stone, so you don't get hurt anymore. So yeah, so hopefully November, December, maybe January. Yeah.
But worth waiting for. Sounds.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think you're right, though. I think the only way to not get hurt is just to shut off your heart and your emotions and never ever make yourself vulnerable. That's the only way to guard against pain, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is you can never get to the point where you're too afraid to try and fall in love. That is, you can't shut yourself off, but I don't know. You just can't be wide open. You got to be careful. You got to learn, what is it, warning signs of, oh, wait a minute. This isn't going right. I better get out before it decimates me. So
absolutely. Okay, well, I'll say thank you so much. We will enjoy continuing to listen to your music, and we'll just wish you all the best for the future.
I appreciate that. Thank you.